What I really wanted was to be alone with one person I knew I could trust. As we walked to the gym, I confided in him everything I had done and swore him to secrecy. That was the day I lost my little brother. We have not seen or spoken to each other in more than 30 years. It's real hard to talk about. He wanted me to respond to that, and I'm not going to. I refuse, absolutely refuse to talk to Steve. He doesn't care about how I feel. It's all about him. What about how he made me feel, how he hurt me, how he didn't put none of that. He lied to me for 34 years and he's just gonna write a little paragraph, just a little paragraph for 34 years of pain and people calling me a liar. The last thing that I'll ever do is talk to him again. Steve wanted me to keep it secret, but I tell you what, I shouldn't have. There's so much that I have to tell you. I want to share this with everybody. I want everybody that said that I was lying, that I wasn't telling the truth about my brother. Now it's all out. It's hard to talk about, but I'm glad I am. There's so much. I have so much more. There's just so much. We're living at Reese Air Force Base in Lubbock, Texas. My stepdad, he was in the military. My mom, she has 5 kids by 5 different men. And Steve was definitely her favorite out of all of us. I was a year younger than Steve. When we were kids, slept in the same room, went to the same school. We did everything together. We were inseparable. I looked at him like he was a role model.
I can't figure this out. Let me take a look.
He was very intelligent when he came to school. He got really good grades and everything. And when he'd help me with my homework, it made me feel real good. I felt that, he loved me. I admired my brother, and I wanted to be a lot like him.
How's it going in here?
He's getting it, right? I think so.
But he was born with a problem.
This one.
He was definitely wired different than everybody else. I want the world to know that Steve, the word I'm gonna use is a psycho. I look back on things, and there's so many things that he did. There's just no way he could love us and do what he's done. I did not like to get in trouble at all. I always did everything I could to stay out of trouble, but he lived to create trouble. I mean, this was a daily, literally daily basis. Me and Steve shared a room. I was in that room at the time playing with my toys, and Mom walks in with Steve, and she's just yelling at the top of her lungs at him.
What is the matter with you?
So I stopped playing, and I just sat there wondering what's going on. She was yelling, "I can't believe you did this. You're in so much trouble. You just wait till your dad gets home. What has gotten into you?" I was confused. I didn't know what she was talking about. Once Dad got home, I heard my mom and Dad both saying something about a barber shop. Took a rock, broke the window, got in there, broke the mirrors, broke the glass, and just tore the place apart. My dad was asking him questions about what he had done. Steve didn't say one single word.
Is that true?
Hey, I'm talking to you.
Steve had no emotion. He just looked straight ahead. He didn't look at them when they were talking to him. They would repeatedly say, "Look at me," and he didn't.
You know he can press charges, right?
It's like he didn't care. He looked like a shark. Like when a shark, its eyes don't move, it's just black and cold and calculating. When they left, I asked him specifically what happened, and he says, "It's just something to do."
Are you mad at him or something? Nah, just bored.
For a kid that age to break into a place and just tear it up has issues. Steve had no respect for authority whatsoever. Steve was gonna do what Steve wanted to do, and no matter what the repercussions of it would be, punishment had no effect on Steve. I can remember one time we were at Reese Air Force Base there in Lubbock, Texas. They have this youth center that's on the military bases for kids to go. This was a Saturday night, and Steve wanted to go to this little dance they were having at the youth center, and Dad said anything. And he opened up the window, climbed up the window, and went. Dad happened to come back in our room to check up on us. Steve was gone. And Dad's like, "Where's he at?"
So he went anyway.
I didn't say nothing to him. Dad knew. And he said, "Let's go." I had my pajamas on. We drove over there. Dad told me to go in and get him. I was very humiliated to walk in there in my pajamas and no shoes on. I couldn't believe Dad made me do that. So we get home. I'm scared as hell because Dad's really mad. It has the belt and starts spanking Steve. Steve, nothing. No tears, nothing. Nothing whatsoever. Just, he took it. And I used to wonder how he could be so strong.
Now get in that bed!
Once it's all over with between him and Dad, Dad tells him, "Take your ass to bed." And he walks out and slams the door. I just turn and I look at Steve. He's just looking at, just dead at me. And I'm just like looking away. And he's like, I turn back and look, and he's just still staring at me. He did that literally for about 30 minutes. And it scared the hell out of me. His eyes didn't even blink. He was just looking at me. I wanted to say I didn't do it, but I knew better than to say anything because he was angry. My parents didn't know what to do with Steve. They tried medication, they tried counseling, but things just kept getting worse and worse. Where we was at, church, school, gym, anywhere where there's something there, he'd try to steal it. I was always there to look out for him, even though I didn't want to. When I look at the picture and I look at the eyes, I can feel how I used to. We moved to a Shepherd Air Force Base in Wichita Falls, Texas. We'd be at school. We have PE together, and he'd want to go back into the locker room and check people's clothes for money. And he'd, say, look out for me.
You just need to keep watch.
As I got older, it bothered me. I've tried a couple of times to tell him that I'm not gonna look out for him.
Come on, man, I don't want to keep doing this.
But let's just put it this way. If I didn't do something to help him, I'd pay for it dearly.
He's such a wimp.
I told him I'm not gonna do it, and he got very angry with me. I turned around to walk out, and he just hit me in the back. And it knocked the breath out of me. I fell down on the ground and couldn't even breathe for a minute. He hurt me. That's when I realized I did not have a choice. I'm gonna have to do what he asks.
Now keep an eye out on that door.
Every day it was something with Steve. Every single day, Steve was out of control, and I was totally powerless to stop him from doing everything that he was doing. Not everybody saw the monster in Steve like I did. I was there. I know what he was capable of. Everywhere that we ever lived, there's always feral cats everywhere on a military base. Steve would take firecrackers, get some string or twine or something, and put it on the cat, and then he'd light it on fire and bow. Sometimes the cat would die, sometimes it wouldn't.
All right, new football. Go, go, go.
One time, it was Christmas. We opened our gifts at about 5 a.m. and we had a football. We went outside, just me and Steve, throwing a football to each other. And the cat just walks up to be petted. And he just picks it up and just breaks its neck like it's nothing and throws it down. He totally caught me off guard with it. I was thinking, my God, he just killed that cat. And it was just a kitten. Steve, when he did it, had no conscience. That's the part I didn't understand about him, no conscience. When I looked at his eyes, there was emptiness. He didn't say nothing to me about it. He went through the day like as if nothing. I just said, there's a dead cat out there. My parents were in there cooking Christmas. Steve enjoyed hurting people. Do you mind if I tell you a story?
What's up?
There was one time we had just got through with football practice, and this kid was in his wheelchair, and he was going across the basketball court.
Hold this.
And there's this machine that shoots balls. It can shoot them up to 70 miles per hour. And Steve took these tennis balls and stuck them in the machine. I was thinking to myself, he really is gonna shoot him with that? And he did. Steve shot one of them at it and hit him in the chest, and he just flipped out of the wheelchair, and he kept shooting them. And the guy was just begging, please stop, Steve, please.
No more. Please.
And he just kept pow, 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 hitting him. He didn't care. He just was doing it to make everybody laugh. He was feeding off the laughter.
Look at him.
He had a real big smile on his face, and he went over there and pulled up the boy's shirt to see all the bruises. He enjoyed humiliating and hurting the kid.
Let's get out of here.
School, the principals, and all of them, they knew a lot about a lot of the things that were happening because the kids would go tell them. But Steve was a really good athlete, and he got away with a lot of things because of that fact.
You all right, man?
There's a big game coming up. They need him to be on the field. He was the big man on campus. but he didn't have no friends, per se. People were afraid of him, and the older he got, the worse it got. Steve would target girls that were loners, that kept to themselves. He'd do really bad things to them. I mean, we're talking 12-year-old girls. We had an open campus during lunchtime, and there was this girl that was in my grade. She was a loner, she kept to herself. I was very naive at the time, and I didn't understand what was going on. The girl would come from behind the curtains crying and take off running. He did that with every girl that he ever took back there. He forced himself on. We moved to Aviano Air Force Base in Italy. Each place that we lived at, it didn't last 1 week when we were there before he was in some kind of big trouble. He grabbed a woman's breast, and the woman, of course, went to the police. And bear in mind, this was our first week in Italy. When the police came to pick Steve up, to take him in, I was in the room, and I heard everything. They told my parents what had happened. They need to take him in and, I guess, book him or whatever they're gonna do. And Steve was there, and he didn't say nothing. He was just being his normal self, just looking off into space. I saw Steve get put in handcuffs. I saw Steve get taken down to the police car. But the trouble that he got into didn't last long. It went away real quick because of sports. Football season was starting, and they just sweep it under the rug. When we were in Italy, that's when he really started to lose his mind. There was a girl that was in my class. She was a very, very nice girl.
You're home. What happened?
It's fine. They dropped the charges.
The girl's mother got in contact with my mother after we had left Italy. And the mother told my mom that her daughter committed suicide because of what Steve was doing to her. Oh my God, I was in shock, but he didn't care. I couldn't believe it. I was like, God, how much more can he do? Once we left Aviano to come to Travis Air Force Base here, that violence in him came out. It was a Friday night. We had a football game. We was playing. Steve had a real good game.
Yo, man, can't believe how good you were in that game.
Steve comes up to me and he says, look, check this out. Look at that guy talking to my girl. Steve had this little girlfriend that was at the football game. And she was standing up at this fence talking to this dude. Steve put on his helmet, strapped it up real tight, and said, watch this. And he took off running full speed and just put his head down. The guy didn't have no clue what was about to happen to him. He turned around right at the last second. People started screaming. He really, really hit that guy hard. Helmet right into the guy's forehead. The guy fell down and started rolling, holding his head, and blood was just gushing. Sheriff's deputies ran over there. One of them grabbed Steve. Steve grabbed him, threw him down. The other one grabbed him and couldn't hold on to him. Steve got back on top of that guy, and it took about 5 or 6 of us to get Steve off that guy. I've never seen Steve ever like that before. He was so upset. He could have really killed that guy. And all he was doing was talking to his girlfriend. Everybody saw it. Think he got in trouble? Nope. He didn't. The sheriffs didn't press charges or nothing. The school didn't want to hold Steve accountable for anything that he did because he was a good football player. But I asked him, I said, "Are you crazy? Man, why'd you throw that cop down?" He's just like, "He's in my way." He's just, no expression, nothing. That's when I knew that he has it in him to really do some damage to somebody and take their life. I had a job. I had access to money. Steve, he didn't. And the only way he could get it was to steal it. And as time went on, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the stealing just got worse. And one night, we walked up to the school. He said, "I got something special to show you." He pulls out this huge crowbar. He took the crowbar and broke a window out. I was scared out of my mind. I thought, when he broke the window, I thought somebody would definitely have heard that.
What are you doing?
He went in there, got the safe, this big safe. He's struggling with it. So I helped him get it out. And I'm like, "Where'd you get this from?" He said, "The principal's office."
Here, come on.
Put it down. He tries to open it, busts it open. It had over $2,000 in it. And he hands me about $100, and he keeps all the rest. And Steve started stealing bigger things, like a motorcycle, money from our neighbors. 90% of the time, he never got caught because I was looking out for him. The reason that I went along with Steve is because I was scared. I felt that I had to do it or there'd be repercussions for it. Obsession for money for Steve meant that he'd get it any way he could. I know he was really desperate, but I didn't think he was desperate enough to kill. When Steve went off to college, I thought for sure he'd stop. He's gonna concentrate on sports and do well. I just knew that he'd stop, and he didn't. Steve was actively being recruited by bigger schools other than Chico State.
I don't understand why you even want to go there.
But he chose Chico because Chico in Playboy magazine was the #1 party school.
Regardless, I have to get an apartment.
And he was trying to tell my parents that he didn't want to stay on campus, that he wanted to stay off campus, and that he needed X amount of dollars for this to happen.
Do what you want to do, but we're not paying rent for you.
And they said, "No, you got a free ride to school. Why don't you stay on the campus so you don't have to pay?" And that's not something that he wanted to do. That's where I came into the picture. I had a job, I had a check, steady check coming in.
How about you? Want to help me out?
Sure. How much you need?
And I helped him. That's the worst thing I could have ever done. I shouldn't have done it. That's when it all went to hell. Like, I really messed up. And I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, I took some people's lives.
I killed some people.
I'm thinking he's joking. I asked him who were the people that he murdered, and he said the people that hired me to work at their house to mow their lawn. He got behind on payments, on rent. He had a bunch of hot checks out there. The school's employment department found him a job cutting grass. They lived in a prominent neighborhood, that's why he targeted them. And he said, I needed money. And the only thing I could think of was to go rob them. And he starts telling me in detail what he did. He told me the lady answered the door. He rushed in, got her down on the ground, and she was screaming. Her husband heard. He was in a wheelchair. He comes in there. Steve takes a fire right because she was so scared. Her hands were shaking. He told me that he stabbed the man first so many times in the sitting room. He stabbed her so hard that he stood on the knife. I was just listening. He was just telling me everything. I feel my heart rate going up. My mind is going real fast. I didn't know if he was being serious or not. I couldn't tell. And he kept asking me, do you think I'm gonna get caught?
Do you think the cops will figure it out?
He says I tried to cover all my tracks in order to try to throw the people off. He wrote on the mirrors, this is just the beginning, with her lipstick. And he pushed the skirt up to make it look like there was a sexual assault or something like that. I felt sick to my stomach. And there was a long pause. We woke up early on that Saturday morning. My mom came into our room with the newspaper and she says, hey, Steve, some people got killed up at your college.
Did you hear about this?
And she started reading the article. Everything that his mom read in that paper is what he told me.
This is right by you, isn't it?
Yeah. That's crazy.
That's when I was like, oh my God, something did happen. I turn and I look at him. He makes eye contact with me. He shakes his head no. And him shaking his head no to me was to let me know, don't say anything, please. After she walks out, that's when I pulled him off to the side.
You gotta tell him what you told me.
I begged him, you need to tell Mom and Dad what's going on. He said, no. Don't you say anything to them about it. I still was in disbelief.
Steve.
The church that we go to, they call our sinners forward at the end of the service for them to be prayed for. Me and Steve used to laugh at people that used to walk up there.
I now ask that those of us amongst us guilty of sin come forward.
But Steve walked up there that Sunday. He was crying. He never cries. Steve never cried. That's the very first time I've ever seen him cry. I'm sitting there in shock. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. It all hit me right then. I was just like, oh my God, Steve really did this.
I'm going to ask you to pray for these sinners.
That's what I knew, without a doubt. Get home now. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, just come, I need you here right now. She says, please. I just put the phone down and I ran. And it was about a good mile to the house, and I ran that mile so fast. I had no clue what was going on. Once I get around this big curve, I see all these cop cars at my house. And then I see my mom, she's on the ground. I wanted to go down and help my mom. I grabbed her by her hand and I says, "Mom, are you okay?" And she couldn't talk, she just shook her head. She's having a heart attack. They take her, get her in an ambulance. A cop pulls me to the side. He told me that my brother's in jail for murder. The next day, the paper gets delivered. And it's got a picture of him in handcuffs with a big ass smile on his face. Knowing that Steve was guilty just hurt my heart. It hurt so bad. I hate this picture. This picture brought so much pain and hurt. It makes me so mad. I can't believe that he's smiling after what he's done. This is how he used to look when he had a good play on the football field. He's a very evil man. And this picture shows how evil he really is. He killed 2 people, and he's walking out with a big ass smile on his face, as if though he's done nothing. When I first walked up to the jail, his facial expression was like nothing that I'd really never seen before. He looked scared. I pick up the phone, and before he gets on the phone to talk to me, he looks at me and he just shakes his head no, like that. He didn't want me to say nothing. He wanted me to be quiet about everything that he had told me. He was telling people that he was innocent. We started talking about regular things. He was asking me about school. I didn't know what to say. I just kept looking at him, and he just kept shaking his head, no, don't, no. My God, it's a hard picture to look at. She's a very pretty lady, and she lost her life to my brother. He's a very distinguished looking man. He was a doctor. He delivered so many babies, helped so many people. They look so happy together. My God, Steve is he's a piece of How could he do this to these people? Over $3,000. He didn't have to kill these people for that. I can't help but feel guilt for what my brother did to these people. I'm so sorry, so sorry for what my brother has done to you and your family. I'm so sorry. He deserved to be put to death for killing them people. That's me. I hate reading this. There's no sincerity in this at all. None. This whole thing that I have right here in my hand, it's a bunch of bull. He deserves to lose his life for what he did. It was a horrible, horrible crime that he committed. To me, that whole confession was to save his own butt. To that end, it did work. It saved his life. It's something that he'll never have, and I want to let him know I won. I won for once.
barely noticeable, but it was a scar all the same. A wound created by my own desire to feel something good. It shattered me. I stumbled back, dizziness crashing over me, hands trembling like I was holding a rifle again. Old instincts rising. Old darkness whispering. See, you destroy even the things you try to love. My knees buckled. I sank to the floor, head in my hands, breath shaking. The portrait watched silently, accusing, tender, unreachable. That was the moment indulgence turned into despair, the final threshold of temptation. I had been chasing the ghost of a life that wasn't mine, a life built on the suffering I caused, a life that did not belong to me and never would. In trying to escape guilt, I had created a new one, a softer sin, but a sin nonetheless, using someone's grief as a mirror for my fantasies. The next day, I didn't return to the studio. The guards called my name. I ignored them. The counselor knocked. I stayed silent. I lay on the narrow cot in my cell, staring at the cracks in the ceiling, feeling the swell of panic rising. It wasn't her portrait I had ruined. It was myself. The indulgence was over. The fantasy was broken. The lie had collapsed under the weight of its own beauty. And when beauty collapses, it always falls into darkness. Collapse never announces itself. It doesn't scream. It doesn't roar. It whispers, soft, steady, familiar, like a voice you thought you buried. Mine began the morning I refused to leave my cell. The guards weren't used to that. I had been one of the predictable ones. Quiet, disciplined, routine-bound. A man who followed schedules because they kept him from thinking too much. But that morning, the world felt tilted, as if gravity had shifted sideways. I lay on the cot, staring at the concrete wall, listening to my pulse hammer against my ribs. It wasn't fear, not the kind I'd known during missions. This was something colder, a sense that I had crossed a line I couldn't return from. The portrait smear was tiny, but it felt like a prophecy. If I couldn't preserve beauty, if I couldn't even hold my own remorse without corrupting it, what was left? The counselor's voice echoed in memory. Change built on fantasy collapses under reality. Reality had arrived, and it came quietly, like a curtain lowering. By noon, they escorted me to mandatory group therapy. I walked like a man underwater, slow, muted, disconnected from his limbs. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, too sharp, too bright, exposing every flaw I had tried to bury. The circle of chairs waited. 12 men, 12 stories, 12 kinds of guilt. I avoided their eyes. They avoided mine. The session began with routine questions. How are you sleeping? How is the art practice? Has anyone encountered emotional resistance this week? My turn came. I opened my mouth. No sound emerged. The counselor tilted his head. You don't have to speak, he said gently. Silence. But if you stay silent, the guilt speaks for you. The words pierced something brittle inside me. I felt heat behind my eyes, a warning, a storm. I stood abruptly and left the room. The counselor didn't stop me. He just watched, sadness flickering across his face, as if he already knew the shape of my collapse. I did not return to the studio for 3 days. During those days, the fantasy rotted. Then the rot spread. I convinced myself it wasn't a collapse, just exhaustion, just a temporary fracture, just a man needing rest. But I didn't sleep, didn't eat, didn't move. I sat on the edge of the cot, elbows on knees, staring at the floor until the shape of it blurred into something unrecognizable. The blank canvas titled Me drifted through my mind like a ghost, a mirror I refused to step in front of. The world shrank. Sounds became muffled. Colors faded. Faces blurred into blotches of light and shadow. When the guard delivered food, I barely noticed. He waved a hand in front of my face. I didn't react. "You good?" he asked. I nodded. A lie so thin it nearly tore in my throat. The counselor came to my cell. He didn't knock. He simply entered and sat on the chair across from me, as if I had invited him. "You've disappeared," he said. I stared at the floor. "I'm right here." "No," he murmured. "You're not." He studied my posture, my breathing, the tension in my jaw. "You're afraid," he said. I shook my head. "Yes," he insisted softly. "You're terrified that the person you want to be," he tapped his chest, "and the person you were," he tapped the concrete floor, "cannot exist in the same body." I swallowed. Hard. Painful. He leaned forward. "You ruined a portrait, didn't you?" My breath stopped. He had noticed. Of course he had. The smear was slight, but to someone who watched broken men for a living, it was a warning flare. "It happens," he said. "No," I whispered. "You don't understand." He waited, quiet, patient, the same way Elise had waited while looking at her own portrait, the same patience